All right, so welcome. Welcome to Envision. First of all, I just want to say thank you for joining me on this episode. It's quite special because this is something I've been trying to do for some time, and it's also special because it's the first episode of something new. Now, being as it's the first episode, this is going to be the introductory episode where I'll be telling you about what this is, what it's about, why I'm doing this, and who I am. All those questions that you might have in your head that hopefully by the end of this video, all those questions will be answered. So it shouldn't even be a long episode. If you do have any questions at the end of the video, maybe the things that I didn't touch on that you're interested in knowing, I will reply to the comments. So please leave a comment. That way I can just let you know if there's anything that you have unanswered. So just getting into it, my name is Taboka Chengeta. I'm the founder and creative director at a content agency called Good Vision. Good Vision, like I mentioned, is a content agency that specializes in content production and content marketing for aspiring thought leaders and aspiring influencers who want to grow their brand and grow their market reach. Now, that's just fancy business jargon to say that we help create content and we also help get that content to the audience that it's best suited for. Now, of course, we're a content agency, and sometimes it could be synonymous with a marketing agency because our activities are the same. It's like a lot of digital marketing, graphic design, social media management, and all of that. But we are just very focused on content. I mean, I even argue that it's the backbone of all digital marketing because any campaign needs content. So we actually care more about creating the best content for these campaigns. So I'd say our core essence as Good Vision is to really bring together strategy and creativity. I'll get into who I am and what I do in a minute, but I have a marketing background and I have a creative background. And in my own personal life, I've seen the fruits of bringing these two things together. But it seems like in the general landscape, there are creative minds, excellent creative minds, who don't get the strategic backing that you would get in a bank because the banks, insurance companies, and all these places where there's money, they get the best strategic people. The best marketing person isn't going to try work with musicians or someone who paints canvases or a producer. You know what I'm saying? So we try to bring those worlds together by not just creating the content, but also having that strategic essence to back up that content so that we can be successful. So, normally, a common question that we get as a content agency is, well, what is content? And content, simply put, is any medium that can facilitate value. So, this medium, for example, could be video, like what you're watching right now. It could be a picture, it could be a speech, it could be audio, any medium that can facilitate value. And the value in question could be entertainment, it could be informative, so that is really the essence of content and what we're trying to push as Good Vision. And I hope that's a very clear definition of what Good Vision is. So getting into my own personal journey, hopefully without yapping too much, I started off as a rapper. I've been rapping since I was 9 years old, 10 years old. Just rapping for my friends as a hobby. The way I got into it, I was just rapping Lil Wayne lyrics that I'd always forget. I'd forget the lyrics and then fill in the gaps with my own lyrics. If you know me well, you know that even to this day, I still do this. If I'm singing a song, I'll just fill in the gaps of that song with something random. And that's how I started conceptualizing rap. And I'll just do this for fun before the clout, before girls, before thinking about money. It was just a hobby that I was into. And to my surprise, because I wasn't necessarily the coolest person as a 9 year old, the fact that people found it cool and this is something I was into was kind of like surprising to me. And I think that was probably the first sign that, oh, this is something that people find valuable.
Now I'm at the set of shit. I give a little left. I can't transform, but I better shape shit again and again. It's like 10. If my rapping is better, I'll be in. I didn't really know if I could show
So as much
up.
as my 10-year-old homie thought it was cool and it was like adorable, I guess, for like my sister, because I'm like a 10-year-old rapping, it was just a hobby to me. It was just a part of my life. I never really had, intentions of pursuing it as a, profession. And it's kind of insane because a part of that is because I just had a good understanding that the industry in Botswana is not necessarily fruitful. And it's kind of crazy that I was 10 years old thinking this. Like you can ask my sister, like I was 10 years old saying the industry's cooked. And I feel like that in a way is sort of a testament of how depressing being a creative in Botswana can be sometimes. I remember telling her all these things. That was how I genuinely felt about it. Though I knew I had talent, and I just figured I'd probably become like an engineer or something because I really liked the idea of engineering, even though really I enjoyed the idea of creating. But I wanted to do it like Steve Jobs and all these people, do all of those things. That was like my first ever dream. And it's only when I was 18 or 19 years old when I decided to start taking music seriously. Maybe because physics and math were chowing, and I just figured it's there's no way I'm going to be an engineer at this rate because this is an uphill battle, right? Becoming an engineer, though I really wanted to be a civil engineer. So I just figured let me just take music seriously, but not just because my first dream was chowing, but I also just figured that I've been doing this for basically a decade of my life, rapping to myself, writing all these lyrics, having these ideas that I just personally felt would be amazing ideas. I never pursued them. But at the same time, I know how it makes me feel. I know how spitting an incredible bar makes me feel inside. It gets me excited, makes me feel inspired, it makes me happy. And I just figured someone else out there could probably experience the same thing, and by keeping that value in like a safe in my house or in my mind and not sharing it with the world, I'm sort of robbing them of the opportunity to enjoy that same feeling that I share. So why am I keeping it to myself? I should share these things with other people to help them in their own personal lives, even if it means helping them is putting a smile on their face. So I started taking it more seriously. I started making albums and releasing my own music. And in that pursuit, I started gaining a bunch of skills: graphic design, mixing and mastering, producing, photography, videography. And also, shout out to all the people who helped me in that journey, particularly people like that guy Dips. Literally, how I started getting into videography is just because there were a bunch of videographers who I just was sick of, and they would either ghost you or like not work with you. And it's not like I wasn't paying, like I was trying to pay people. Like it's either they would trash or they would ghost you. Like it was wild. And I argue that that taught me a lot about customer service as a videographer, whenever we do videography work, because I just know that I could kill these niggas with customer service just from my own experience of a client, because I've had the experience of working with them. So I just figured that I'm going to start doing my own thing. And Dips at the time, he was a YouTuber. So he had access to a camera. And I literally told Dips, like, look, I'm going to try shoot a music video and edit it for the first time in my life. And if it's trash, we're never going to speak of this. And, out of his own good heart and his own faith in me, he let me use his camera, which is not an easy ask ever. And we were shooting a music video. I edited it, and, I can speak of it. So I guess it wasn't trash. So I say all of this because my creative journey actually led to what we do today as Good Vision in terms of creating content. If you know Good Vision, you're familiar with the fact that we do a bunch of podcasts. And to do a podcast, you ideally need about 3 people or 4 people to do it. You need an audio engineer, you need a graphic designer, you need a videographer. But luckily, I had all those skills. So it was very easy for me to get into the game, even though I didn't have all the equipment necessary to facilitate podcasts. So, I mean, even just telling you about how everything started, I had a music video with Viso, and it was shot by DOP Stan, but I directed and edited it because, I can't shoot my own music video unless I have like a tripod or something, but I wanted it to look sick. So we had this music video, and after it was released, I got a call from a gentleman named TK of Gabs FM. And TK is like, bruh, I want to interview you. I also want to interview the person who directed and edited a music video. And I'm like, you're talking to the same person. And he was excited about that, probably because he, already contemplated doing the Juice 2.0, which it's known as today, as his podcast and stuff. So he calls me for that interview. We had the interview, everything is cool. And after that, he just proposes that we do a podcast. I guess he liked what he heard, and I was definitely able to do the job. Mind you, at the time we had Revision, right, which was a podcast that we were doing as Good Vision, and Good Vision wasn't a thing yet. Even in fact, like Good Vision was supposed to be like a clothing label or something. I didn't know what it was, but I really liked the name Good Vision. I really resonate with the idea of good in terms of ethic and vision in terms of strategy. And so when he proposed it, it was like a no brainer for me at the time. I could definitely do it. And I was excited about it. There was no way in my head that this thing could fail, especially since I knew that he could reach out to celebrities and stuff. And I even told him I'd do it for free. And shout out to TK because he was like, nah, I'll still pay you either way. So I'm hearing I'm getting paid even though I'll do this for free, and it's great that he paid because I really needed that money. But it's like I was able to do it for free and he was paying. To me, it was a no-brainer, and that's when it started. I told him like this is gonna work. He shouldn't even stress about it. But definitely gonna get to at least 10,000 subscribers in a year. A year later, we reached 10,000. A year after that, we reached 20,000, and the story continues. So yeah, and that's just how it started. Working with the Juice 2.0, started getting more clients because people saw the work that we were doing and they liked that work. And bingo bango, I decided to take it more seriously. And now what you see today is Good Vision. So now we can get into what Envision is. I think I've done enough yapping about who I am and what good vision is and all of that. Now getting into Envision. I think a common theme in my life in regards to what I'm attracted to, in regards to things that I want to do, revolves around bringing ideas to life. And, this is like something that's always fascinated me, especially when I was making music, because when I made music, I'd get a positive response like, oh, I liked what you did there, and I like this verse, and I like this line, or what. And it's like these were just ideas that lived in my head. And now you're getting to experience these ideas and they're having a positive outcome. So it's like, of course, to bring ideas to life, you need creativity. So even when I was an engineer, it was like I wanted to invent the craziest things, maybe like something that can reshape the way we live our lives, but for the better. And in a sense, where I'm getting with this is that to start with anything in terms of trying to help people, you need to have a vision. And the process of that is by envisioning. You see what I did there? Envisioning. You know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to do with this platform, and that's the inspiration of why I'm calling it Envision. And it works because it's like good vision and envision. I think that's cool. Why I'm doing what I'm doing is to help educate and teach people about the world of both strategy and creativity while bringing them together for most people who are interested in content creation, but just people who are generally interested in moving forward. Of course, because it's like it's my expertise to do like videography and stuff, I'll be doing like a lot of tips on, how to get better lighting and how to get better quality videos, how to get better quality images, stuff like that. That's very content based. But of course, these are all tips and tricks that even someone who's not in the space can understand and learn from. Because at the end of the day, personally, I see everyone as a creative person. It's not just because you haven't picked up a paintbrush that you're not creative. We're creative in so many aspects in our lives that it shouldn't be limited to just people who pick up paintbrushes. So, what you can expect in terms of episodes coming from this is like creative principles, marketing principles, things that you probably didn't understand about digital marketing or content creation, things which are underrated in creativity, things which are overrated in creativity. And it's not limited to whatever I'm choosing. I'd really like to cultivate a community. So feel free to like leave a comment and tell me what you guys are interested in so that maybe we can do the research and packaging and all of that and give it to you in a way that's digestible and also help you on that process of envisioning what you want to do and help you get a step forward. So like literally comment. I will read the comments. It's nothing crazy for me to read the comments and I will respond to them. So yeah, that's the essence of Envision. I'm really glad that you watched until the end of this video, and I hope that inspires you to subscribe and keep up with this channel. I'm very excited for what we're gonna see. This is the introductory episode, so the next episode should be coming out very soon, if not on the same day or by the time you watch this. It will probably be around like lessons I've learned or content marketing or something like that. I haven't recorded that episode, so don't hold me to this. I might change my mind. But expect an episode very soon. Please leave a comment. If you actually enjoyed this video, leave a like. Don't just do it hella just to support. I want to know that you actually enjoyed this video. And if you didn't, you don't have to like. It's cool. It's whatever. But also leave a comment if you have any questions or suggestions or whatever. That's me, man. Thank you for watching this episode, and you'll see me very soon.